welcome, ladies and gents. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. This is more like a how-to kind of video. Is more basic for the people that might not know what kind of e-liquids they should be using and things like that. Because one of the things I still come across to this day, I mean, I've been vaping for a fair while, let's face it. I've been vaping for a long time. So one of the things I come across is people end up using the wrong e-liquids with their devices. They end up buying these big fancy fucking devices and they're like, oh, I really need high nicotine. And they don't realise these big fancy fucking devices of theirs actually aren't compatible with the e-liquids they need. So this is what I'm going to be going over. I'm even going to minorly explain why these devices aren't compatible, so we're going to have a short brief on mouth to lung, direct lung, a bit of a chat about freebase and salt nicotines and high VG liquids and things like that. We're even going to have a quick dash into concentrates as well. We're not going to do a mix or anything like that because that will just overcomplicate things, and that's not really going to be the point of this entire video. So we'll go over that step by step, frame by frame, and if I find I need to, I will just add little markers in between, if you get what I mean. So yeah, hopefully the pictures will be clear enough for you to kind of get the gist of it. I've tried to from the products I purchased in the video, I've tried to keep it mostly one brand feature during the whole lot, because I find this brand will have majority of what you want in most flavors, whether that is literally from one e-liquid type to another e-liquid type to almost in all flavors, except from concentrates is a bit rarer for them. That's why I went for a completely different flavor. But I thought I'd also break down the colors a little bit more, so that way it's a little bit less confusing too. So right, I will catch you on the follow through. We're going to be talking about all these flavors here. We've got 2 bottles of salt nicotine at the top, which is the Cafe Tobacco salts. We have the Dinner Lady Cafe Tobacco short fill. We also have the 4 lemon tarts on the bottom row, and in addition to that, we also have the Dinner Lady Bubblegum Concentrate. We're going to be talking about all these different types of products here. We're not going to be going over too much with the concentrate because that is a DIY product. But I will give you a quick rundown. Here we have freebase nicotine. Freebase nicotine, you can usually tell on the label it's freebase because it has more stages of nicotine, more ideal for cutting down on your nicotine levels. Basically here you can see 3, 6, 12 and 18 milligrams. So that makes things a little bit more ideal. Freebase nicotine has a bit more of a throat kick to it than salt-based nicotines. So yeah, and it has a higher pH level too. Salt-based nicotines are a bit lower of a pH scale. You'll find salt-based nicotines don't have so much of a throat hit. They have, they're a lot more sweeter, but they are quite limited on how many milligram levels there are. So you can't quite drop down as gradually as you can free-based nicotine. Generally, you'll find salt-based nicotines in their 20s and 10 milligrams, and a few companies may do 5 milligrams too. It's not so much of a common occurrence, but it's kind of how people are. So if you can't really stand a harsh hit from the freebase nicotine, this is why a lot of people use salt nicotine. Nowadays you seem to find salt-based nicotines a little bit more expensive. It obviously depends on the brands. Not all brands are as expensive. One of the most important factors to remember with choosing your e-liquid is what milligram level do you want, how harsh do you want your nicotine level, and is it the right VGPG ratio for your device? As you can tell between the free-base and the salt-based nicotines is that what I've showed here is a picture of a couple of mouth-to-lung devices. One of them's a rebuildable, which obviously isn't for everybody, but even some of the old school builders still prefer using these types of devices. You've also got a picture of just a little pod kit here, which is also used for low wattage, higher nicotine devices, 50-50 VGPG ratio. VG and PG is vegetable glycerin and propylene glycol. Propylene glycol carries the flavour, but it also gives you that little bit of throat kick too. So it's a little bit more harsher, where vegetable glycerin is a bit more gloopy and a bit more thicker. Hence the reason I mentioned for low power devices where you want 50-50, because too much vegetable glycerin is not going to work with a low power device. And you tend to do this at lower power than you would a direct lung device. A mouth-to-lung device typically has a reduced airflow kind of chamber. That means you won't have ridiculous amounts of vapor trying to pull into your lungs at any given time. Basically, when you draw on a mouth-to-lung device, you draw on a mouth-to-lung device much as you would a cigarette. Within the UK, we are restricted by how many milligrams in a 10 ml bottle that we can sell to the public. You cannot have bottles above 10 millilitres to be sold with nicotine. Here we have a rough little chart to show you. I do not own the rights to this chart, but it'll give you a rough idea to how many cigarettes to how many milligrams could be roughly suited to the individual. There are plenty of these kind of charts on the internet across the place. I'm not even going to lie to you, I can't even remember where I got this chart. I just googled it. In other countries, there will be different types of nicotine levels for e-liquids, especially in the salt nicotines and things like that, but we're not going to go into that because I don't believe it's necessary to talk about products that go beyond 20 milligram, because I think 20 milligram you can quite happily quit cigarettes and quit disposables, depending on which of these it could be your, I suppose, more worse of the two addictions. So talking about products that are non-compliant is rather pointless in my point of view. Short fill e-liquids are more higher on the vegetable glycerin ratio than mouth to lung juices. These are generally around about the 70-30 or 80-20 VGPG ratio. These are no nicotine bottles typically, but you'll find nicotine shots to be sold separately through multiple manufacturers and things like that. Generally, these shots can come out anywhere between 100% PG, 100% VG, 70-30 VG-PG, 50-50 VG-PG, depending on what kind of short fill you've got. This one's for direct lung vaping, so it's for higher power for your direct lung devices. This is plenty of airflow, plenty of power, and things like that. But that's not to say you cannot convert a 70-30 bottle of juice into something that's a bit more thinner using nicotine shots. The nicotine shots are generally 18 milligrams. So if, say, this bottle's a short fill, it's got 50 ml fill, allowing 10 mils for your shot. So to work out how many milligrams you'll get, so you think of 18 milligrams divided by 6, which would equal to 3 milligram. And if you were to do in a large bottle, which is generally about 120 milliliters, it would be 2 nicotine shots. So 2 nicotine shots of 18 milligrams would be 36 milligrams divided by the 12, which would give you the same answer of 3. So it's fair to say there's a little bit of mathematics involved sometimes, but generally you find your shopkeepers and things like that, and even your chat2 sections online will probably help you towards your filling if you're rather new to that kind of thing by using short fills and all that. So here we have my favourite section. This is the concentrates. I love to do my own stuff. You'll find with any what we call one-shot concentrate that there'll be always a recommended percentage of use, which you will be using to mix up your VG and your PG and your nicotine shots into a bottle of your choice. Say for example, I decided to use a 200ml bottle. That's where this would come in handy. I'd need 4 nicotine shots, a load of VG, PG. I could choose whether I wanted to do that in mouth to lung, or obviously it all depends on how you want to do it. There's plenty of online calculators to help you do your own stuff, but I do not recommend running before you can walk when it regards to DIY. So I kind of hope this guide gives you a bit of a rundown on what kind of e-liquids and things like that you're kind of looking for, what kind of devices to match with your e-liquids. I mean, it's easy to go into a shop and say, I want e-liquid for my device. Oh, I'll take that big bottle there. That big bottle might, as I've mentioned, may not be suitable for your vaping style. You know, you just think, oh, it's a big bottle of e-liquid, there's 120 mils, why would I buy 10 mils instead of 120? Which, believe it or not, is quite often what I come across. Someone goes from wanting 20 milligram salts or what they have been using to think, oh, well, there's that big bottle there, I'll just buy that instead. You know, and shopkeeper's not gonna know necessarily what you're using it for. I mean, you're thinking about the quantity over the quality of nicotine, not realizing that's actually a 0 milligram bottle, and the bottle may actually be too thick for what you want it as. So yeah, this is why I've decided to do this little video. I hope you guys who do watch this, even if you are seasoned vapors, like it enough to share it with them friends that may be starting out, and maybe share it with smokers that are thinking about quitting cigarettes, so we can get them on the right path. There is a lot of, in my mind, a lot of misinformation out there, and for those who have vaping a long time, know that it's not the poison it's being made out to be in the media. I mean, yes, there is a lot of regulations being forced into place, you know, even more so now. And I think unnecessarily, to be honest, even price bumps and things like that that are due just as we're coming onto the new year, which is going to literally tie up vaping materials as much as cigarettes, which wasn't the whole point of vaping, to help people quit cigarettes. So, and as I said, I'm not even putting the disposable users completely into mind when I talk about that. So, you know, if vaping is going to be as much as cigarettes, the only people that hurts is the lower earning populations. So, you know, that's really makes things quite difficult. So the more people we can get onto vaping now and learning as much as possible, the better things will be for their health in the long run, and hopefully their financial pockets too, because essentially right now vaping can be a lot cheaper than buying just a packet of cigarettes. I mean, what was the last time I checked on a pack of cigarettes? It was like £15-16 for a packet. I can get an individual sorted out with a kit and 200 mils juice. So say 200 mils juice, a 10 ml bottle would last someone 3 days, 4 days or something like that, maybe even 5. So that will give you an idea, plus spare packs of pods and things like that for under 40 quid. In my mind, you can pick up I think picking up a kit for 40 quid to 2 days worth of fucking vape, 2 days worth of smoking is a huge financial kick, you know. But it's not just finances, it's health, you know. It's looking after yourself, like, you know, for your kids and things like that. But I hope everyone's enjoyed this video, and I will be doing some more reviews and more content like that pretty soon. So I hope everybody has a good day or a good evening wherever you are, and I will catch you.